What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today, I have a special guest, George Pagan III. And I met him at the Real Coaches Summit, I think 2024, so a year and change ago. He's super awesome. He's a personal trainer, but for fun, he started to learn how to build websites and built out a website to help personal trainers find events and grow their knowledge base online. And that's how we connected. Because at the time when I went to the Real Coaches Summit, I was still a software engineer a year and change ago. And so I saw him and I was like, whoa, you got a cool website, you built it yourself. And so we started talking, and he's just really awesome. So I'm excited to have him on here today to tell his story. And yeah, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is George. Like Emma said, I'm just a personal trainer trying to change some people's lives.
Yeah, that's what we all try to do. And that's really awesome. How did you get into the industry?
I ended up changing majors from a business administration major in college about halfway through to exercise science and sports medicine. And that it took me into spending an extra year in college to graduate with that sports medicine degree. And then I honestly had no idea where I wanted to go after that once I graduated. So I ended up just working in retail and warehouses for a couple of months before finding my first personal training job. But I've always liked being like a coach and helping people, because I was like a volunteer coach in my spare time out of high school for football, the sport that I played in high school. So it was always something that I really enjoyed doing, and I felt like being a personal trainer or somewhere in the fitness and rehab industry would be a really good fit for my interest in helping people.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So you played football in high school?
Yeah. I played football growing up, so it was kind of like a natural progression. Play through high school. Played with all the same friends since we were awesome. Like 5-6 years old. So it was really just an awesome bonding experience through the ages.
That's really cool. And how did you start coaching? Was it just like you graduated and you missed it and you wanted to get back into it?
Yeah, that was really it. Anytime I would come home from school on breaks, I would go and volunteer time with the youth sports program that I was brought up in for football, and I would just volunteer some time there just to try to give back. And again, just get involved in the game again, because I kind of just missed playing.
Yeah, I feel that. I played sports all throughout high school, and I miss coaching them. I feel like it's a different thing from coaching just like Gen Pop, general people. It's a lot of fun, and you get to impact kids, because a lot of my coaches influenced who I am today, which is really awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Some of the coaches that I had, they're a little bit hard on you sometimes, but they really kind of change you as a person, because they challenge you a lot more than a lot of other people, I would say.
Definitely. And you want to get better and you want to do it, so you're more willing to do the terrible conditioning days and the,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how did you, out of college, get your first personal training gig after working in the warehouses?
I just started to apply to places that I would find online. It was kind of like a daily grind looking for jobs, because I really didn't know which part of the industry I wanted to work in. I didn't know if it was I want to do group instruction for classes, or work in a large gym, or work in a boutique studio, or even go back to school for rehab and physical therapy degree and that type of thing. So I was kind of all over the place and just looking for a way in. And the first opportunities I had were 2 part-time jobs. One was a physical therapy aide. So I worked alongside the physical therapists and help them do their thing, and then also would help transition people into workout programs after they finish their rehab. That was like a couple of mornings a week. And then I had my second job at the time was working in a boutique studio, one-on-one. That was like pretty far away from my house, but it was like my first opportunity.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming you ended up preferring the more like one-on-one kind of personal training. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. The third job I had at that time, like I juggled all three, was teaching group classes. Just because like it was like one day a week on the weekend. But as much as I enjoyed kind of like the camaraderie of the big group that I was in, it was definitely something I knew I didn't want to do, like group instruction for exercise classes. So I have stuck with the one-on-one personal training ever since, and that's currently what my business model is in person, one-on-one for 90% of my business.
That's awesome. I prefer that as well. I think you can create a bigger impact and a better individualized kind of program for somebody if you're just focusing on them as opposed to like trying to help every person. Like some of those group fitness classes at the local gym have like 50 people in them.
Right. I mean, it was a good programming challenge, I would say, because I had to develop the class myself. So it was like, how do I make sure exercises are regressed enough for people who are in there, who are beginners, and or advanced enough for people who have gone through like a bunch of different exercise classes. So it was definitely a programming challenge for sure.
Yeah, that definitely would be. Yeah, I'm sure. Because again, if you have like 10 plus people in there, people have varying probably mobility issues or injuries or other things.
Yeah.
That must have helped you a lot, though, kind of just progress.
It did because it helped me kind of either in both like think on the fly when somebody would have an issue with one of the exercises I programmed during the class. It helped me kind of be a little creative in how to make sure I have a regression in my tool belt in case I need it. And it also made me really think when I did the programming of like how some of these people will be in the class and like how to make sure that I include them in the exercise selection that's not too challenging for them just to execute. Because sometimes some exercises, if they're too complex for beginners, it becomes less beneficial for them during the class.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially like some of those complex movements, even people who have been trained for a while don't do them properly.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not teaching like a clean or an RDL during the class. Like we're just trying to get some work in.
Yep. Awesome. So how did you transition out of those three roles into your own studio, FitLead?
Oh, that was a ride and a half. I'll tell you. I ended up leaving all three of those positions and taking an unpaid internship in Florida Atlantic University down in Boca Raton, Florida, and that's how I ended up down in Miami eventually. But all of the other experiences I had took place in New York. So I moved down to Florida for that experience. Then ended up tearing my ACL, going back to New York to get it repaired. And then after I was healed up enough, my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, we both decided to move down to Miami together. And then I trained people remotely, or not remotely, mobile. So I would drive to condos and houses and one gym that I would rent space at. So it was kind of like a all over the place type of experience just to get myself working in the industry.
That's crazy. You must have what was the biggest learning experience during that time?
Time management was big because I had to drive to people and make time for programming and make time for my own workouts and make time for business administrative tasks that I didn't really think about before starting. Like the full everything all at once for everything time management.
Yeah. It is. It's hard to juggle that as an entrepreneur because then all of a sudden something comes up and it's like, oh wait, I have to do that. There's
Right.
not anybody else.
Yeah. And it was on both sides too. It was like there was especially in the beginning there were days where I was really really packed with people and sessions, and then there were other days that I had maybe like one or two. So I had to find a way to spend that time like in a beneficial or developmental way. So I wasn't just like twiddling my thumbs on the couch or just watching TV during this downtime. I had to make sure like I was doing stuff to progress and try to fill those slots and things like that.
So what did you do to make sure that you did that instead of sat on the couch?
I would more or less like try to reach out to people in the neighborhood. Like I go on walks often, and I would offer up free sessions to some strangers that I would meet along the way just to kind of fill that spot and get more experience training people and get more, I guess, exposure to the community just by interacting with people I would meet.
That's awesome. That's a great idea. I feel like, well, I'm mostly online, but I do a lot of like in-person networking. But
Hmm.
most of the coaches that I know are just online. And I feel like putting your feet actually like in the community and going around and networking is a great way to kind of get your name out there
Yeah.
and just help your local community. Maybe I should start doing that. 'Cause that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Like I would have like a favorite coffee shop I would go to, and then I would just I'd either meet people there, or just see people there on a regular basis because we'd get coffee at the same time, or I'd talk with some of the managers or some of the employees and just make contacts that way, and be like, hey, like if you want to work out one time, like we can get together and do some stuff.
Cool. I might have to start doing that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, did a lot of those like convert to clients for you?
No, but they definitely helped me reach new people, and they would actually refer people every now and again.
Oh,
Which was really beneficial in that sense because I didn't know anybody in Miami, so I was down here, essentially on an island by myself, and I didn't know anybody to have that like kind of referral network. So it was a way for me to build that from an area that I'm comfortable with. Like I like talking to people, so I'm more than happy to do that rather than like put out marketing flyers or try to spend money on advertising that I'm not very good at doing by myself.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel that. The whole marketing thing is like really tough.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can make a flyer, but I'm not really going to be good at it, and I don't know how to go down that route well enough to make it my main strategy for new business.
Yeah, that makes sense. So personally, I joined a business networking kind of group, and that
Okay.
has been really awesome because it's all about like relationship building.
Okay.
And so you get to know like their business, and then they get to know yours, and they try to help you. You try to help each other kind of build each other's businesses through referrals. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's a structured way.
Yeah. No,
So
I had those options in the beginning. At the time, I honestly didn't have any money to play with in joining some of them because I know some of them cost some money, or like the Chamber of Commerce has usually like an annual fee, or some of these groups have like annual fees. I literally couldn't swing it, so this was my way of kind of doing that by myself on like a shoestring budget. Was like I have free time on Tuesdays, so I'll offer some free sessions on Tuesdays.
that's awesome. Well, that's a great idea. And I think like doing what you can with what you have, and you're great at talking to people. So that's super smart. I'm definitely going to start doing that on my less busy days. Just like go to a coffee shop and like establish myself in there.
Yeah. Yeah, like being on a first name basis with people is sometimes like a funny experience when you go to a coffee shop with like your significant other, because they're like who are you? Like why do they know who you are? And it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
just trying to be friendly.
So yeah, I didn't even think about that. You moved all the way from New York to Miami, and
Yeah.
you and your wife didn't know anybody.
We knew one person that lived about 45 minutes south of where we were. So other than that, we were kind of by ourselves down there, just making it happen.
That's really awesome. And so when did you get your Fitly, like your own personal studio? Was that a couple years ago?
That was actually in 2023, so it's really new.
That's awesome.
For me, I've been before that. Like I said, I was renting space at like a private facility, somebody else's gym, and then before that, just 100% mobile. So I would just go to people's houses and condo facilities.
Do you miss that part of your business?
Sometimes I miss some of the interactions I would have with people. Like, I guess they're kind of like the small interactions, like with the security guard that I would see at this condo building every Wednesday. We'd have a chat, and like I don't see that guy anymore. So I kind of miss like those little relationships that you build along the way for that. But I definitely don't miss the amount of driving that I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably like half of your day was probably driving,
Yeah.
at least, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It really put a limit on the time the time I'd be able to spend with clients, because I really had to be kind of strict and locked into my traveling schedules.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But so now you can help more people. That's super awesome because you
Yeah,
have
it
more
was
time.
Yeah, one of the benefits of having like a single location to be at.
That's awesome. And you establish yourself in the community too, as well, I'm sure, right? Do you have like a
Yeah.
sign up and everything?
Oh yeah. I mean, I still do my walk and introductions to people. Like that's still my bread and butter, because it's just one of the things that I like doing. Since I work for myself, I work pretty much alone 95% of the time. So it's just another way for me to get around other people and talk during the day on an informal basis.
That's awesome. Yeah. Again, I think that's super underrated. Like
Yeah.
coaches listening to this, if you are, try doing this. I'm sure you'll get some benefit from it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, because it doesn't even have to be for people who only work in person. So you can build a rapport with people and then work with them online. It doesn't have to be something that's just like strictly for people who have their own facility or who work on an in-person basis only. It's like you're just looking to meet people who are looking for some help, and they probably know people who are looking for help also.
Yep. Yeah, and it's funny because I'm only online right now. I'm building a gym in my garage just to
Awesome.
train friends.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if I'd want to train strangers at my house. Uh, but yeah, just online and through the in-person stuff is where I've been able to grow my business and establish it. Not online. Online, it's like almost nothing, but it was all just in person.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
It's still good to see people. Like online is great, and be having a service online is really kind of, I guess, where things are going to be going more in the future. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't neglect any in-person relationship building that you can do, even if you have an online service.
definitely agree. Definitely agree. Are you moving online partially? Have you started that transition a little bit?
Yeah, when I was mobile with people in the beginning, I had started that a couple years ago. It just hasn't been something I have fully fledged out in terms of a process. I still work with people, 90% in person. Probably my online clients are maybe like only 10% of my business, and most of them are friend referrals and either previous clients who have moved away. So that's like another way I can keep a client when they happen to move out of town.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's underrated too because I know I have some friends that just do the in-person training and they don't know how to do the online. They like being in person with somebody, but because you have that relationship established, like having the ability to do that is so beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. It gives people another way to refer you also. Like if say someone can't afford a price point of training with somebody in person, you have another option for these people where they can meet you, maybe for an in-person consultation and then have a fully online coaching setup. So it gives, which would be like at a lower price point as compared to an in-person session. So it just kind of, it adds some versatility to your business and allows like a greater demographic of people like to be available for your service.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you get into software?
It stems 100% from me being a bit frugal. So I don't say cheap. I'm definitely frugal with my finances, and I enjoy learning. So I needed to find another way to learn as a hobby outside of the industry, and I thought, what better way for me to have more control over my finances with some of the technology things that I wanted to do than to just learn it myself. And there's tons of like really good free resources available, and even small courses available for learning front-end web development. So it was like the perfect route for me to go and try.
That's awesome. And what made you decide to build out Fitly, like that product specifically?
I didn't see anything similar to it in our industry or around the industry. So I wanted to give it a try, and it also helped me organize the bookmarks that I had already saved for things that I was looking for. So I really built it for myself first. It was like, if I want to look for events quickly that may be in Miami, I needed a better way to do that rather than just going to each website individually and checking their events page to see if it's available. So I made a map with all of the event data and information that I could look at after like one click on the website.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've utilized it. It's super helpful. Like you said, there's like, the fitness industry is not known for their use of technology.
Yeah.
Even a lot of the like training platforms or like online tools kind of are terrible.
I mean, I'm sure you see it from a completely different lens than from what I see it from. So
Yeah, it's like sometimes I'm like, you could have done this thing to make the experience like a little bit better. But anyway, so it's very disorganized. So it's nice to have that kind of more like organized, like centralized location for those sort of things.
yeah, that was really my main motivation, was like, I can't spend hours or even half an hour trying to look for one event every single time I want to look for an event. So I needed, like I said, a better way to be frugal with my time and my finances.
Makes sense. So what do you see in the future for Fitly? Are you still like actively working on it and trying to update it and make changes and stuff?
Yeah, 'cause the base like functionality of it works pretty well. The things I'm trying to improve upon are being able to allow people to get really specific in the things they're searching for.
Oh, cool.
So making better use of filters and and different categories that you can kind of select from in like a cascading fashion. So you can kind of work through the directory without having to just search and scroll through it. So if you're looking for an event, let's say in July, on a specific day or weekend, you can do that really easily. And you can also sub-filter for another category, like you want it to be for business, or you want it to be for women's health, or perimenopause. You can look for those things specifically.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
have to check it out again. That's awesome.
Yeah, that new filter is available for the live events right now, and then I'm working on building or pushing it out for all of the online courses and mentorship programs and things like that.
That's awesome. That's going to be super handy.
Yeah. Yeah, this way if you need to travel, or if you don't want to travel, you can look in a specific area and during a specific time. If you know it's a slow time for you, you look during only specific months.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to check it out. I have more time now, so I need to go to more events, because that's the most fun thing, I think.
Yeah.
Like meeting other coaches in person.
Yeah,
You know.
it really helped me. So if it can help one more person, I think it'd be a benefit, and that's really kind of what keeps me working on it. Is if I hear somebody, like you said, that you've used it and it's helped you, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Just like one to help one more person. That's it.
That's awesome. So what have you learned from that experience that you've been able to apply to your personal training of people?
It really helped me understand what new clients or people who are new to working with a trainer are experiencing in the habit development, trying to make something that they don't necessarily see as important, make them do it on a regular basis. Like I had no other desire to learn any front end web development, but I had to make certain sacrifices and priority changes in order to do these things. And it really helped me understand, like, the people that we're working with are going through the exact same thing. And I think we lose perspective of that sometimes as coaches because we like to work out already. We like to kind of challenge ourselves with new exercises. We like to be on that verge of, like, we're going to fail a little bit and it kind of hurts. And we kind of like look for that, whereas most people don't. So it really helped me connect with that type of experience for clients. It's like it was really hard for me to do this thing that was really outside of my comfort zone. And this is what they're experiencing like every time that they come into the gym for a while until they get really into it.
That makes a lot of sense. That's kind of with my building of my business. It's kind of the same thing. It's like I do not know what I'm doing. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I want to, help people. And so I'm going through these, hurdles and challenges to get to that point.
Yeah.
That's a great, I did not think you were going to go in that direction, but that totally makes sense. And I use that kind of mindset when I'm like working through things with my clients. Cause sometimes like for me, the nutrition and fitness stuff, I've always loved it.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's cool. So how do you like coach a client? Like what does your kind of process look like?
I'm really informal with a lot of it, and I really focus on the relationship side first, because then I feel like everything else comes super easy after that. So as long as I can make sure that they're here on a consistent basis and that we can slowly build in some good adherence and some good consistency, then everything else, like specific programming and working through different microcycles and macrocycles and kind of filling them in onto what those things are, then all of that becomes really easy. Because then I can actually teach them things in a way that they can do them on their own without me there. Because like I really want people to go from being novice to being their own expert in their fitness. So if by chance they can't work with a coach, myself or anybody else for a short period of time, they're not just lost. So they can go into any facility or any other type of training experience and be kind of okay with it. Like making them independent with exercise is really a big driving factor in how I coach people.
That's awesome. That's kind of my perspective as well. Like it's better to teach a man to fish than to fish for somebody.
Yeah.
That's great. How do you do that with your clients? How do you teach them? Just through the sessions and between like rest periods and stuff, or do you have like a structured way? Or
yeah, I think the easiest way that I like to do it is I like to connect different exercises together and show them how, like let's say during a rest period, it's like show them how two completely different exercises are related or why they work together, like why we do it as a superset, so they can understand like how the techniques are similar or different, the things we're looking for, like why you might feel it the same in a front raise and a plank. It's like you're still working your core and your abs. It's just the plane is different. It's like one of them you're standing up, but when your arms are in front of you, you're in a plank, braced position the same way you would be if you were horizontal to the floor. So it's kind of just like just relating exercises to one another, so they don't seem like they're all independent pieces. They're kind of like a cohesive unit.
That's awesome. I never thought to do that, so I'm gonna start implementing that as well. Because the exercise part for me, that's kind of hard to teach to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like nutrition, I think that's a lot more straightforward for the most part. I mean, there's like nuances, and if you have autoimmune condition or something, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's like vegetables, fruits, proteins.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of big rocks that you can get into to people's routines by just sticking with those basics.
Yep. And do you have like exercise basics that you try to get people to implement on their regular kind of routine?
Yeah, everybody is doing in the beginning, everyone is kind of doing the same type of warm up. I would say, like, I put everybody through the same warm up, and it's not for injury specific reasons. It's just because they're easily relatable exercises that everybody can kind of get right off the bat, and they work with all of the other basic movements that we're going to be doing anyway. So I have people do things like a world's greatest stretch
That's a great one.
to have them understand, like how your torso rotates, what it feels like to have a stretch in your hips, what a knee over the toe position is, what it means to be internally and externally rotated at the hip. Like, there's a lot of different things you can kind of go off of on those exercises. And again, they're just kind of easy for people to get in the beginning, and they're a little bit challenging, especially for somebody who's a novice. So this warm up, maybe for the first couple of sessions is like a majority of the workout.
Yeah, I mean, most people's hips are so tight. Getting into that like knee over toe lunged position is like very, very difficult. And then rotating. Nobody rotates.
Right. No one rotates at all. So it's like a perfect combo. Like, I love the name, the world's greatest.
It really is. Like, it's awesome. I try to do it in the mornings, kind of, wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess the second one I put in for majority of people is I like to teach RDLs by doing a bent over scapular raise, like a bent over Y raise and bent over T shoulder raise, because it is that RDL position that we can translate it to later on, but they think it's an upper body exercise.
That's awesome. I'll have to try that, because I've never thought to do that, but because RDLs are really kind of hard to teach somebody, especially because most people don't bend at the hips. They round their body forward. So,
yeah. And
you have to keep a flat back when you're doing them.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to have to start doing that.
Yeah, because it kind of helped people understand like an upright torso position when they're hinged is being not folded over, because they have to lift their arms up, in front of them if they're doing like a 45-degree scapular raise, so 45-degree shoulder flexion. So it just helps kind of gain that experience of like, hey, this is what it means to be, in a flat back position while we're bent over. Because like they don't know what a hip hinge is in terms of like vocabulary. So just saying like, hey, just hinge at your hips, it means absolutely nothing to them at the time. So kind of teaching it from another exercise was really helpful for a lot of the new people that I work with.
That makes a lot of sense. So are most of your the people that you work with just general pop? Okay.
Mostly gym pop and mostly gym novice. So they have the limited experience, probably were not athletes in high school or college, and haven't really spent that much time in the gym. Like I said, sometimes some first sessions I'm explaining the difference between a dumbbell and a barbell. So like that's my bread and butter population to work with. I love it, and it's kind of like the area that I want to grow within my business more, is just work with these people to make them from novices to experts.
That's awesome. And I think that's probably really rewarding for you also,
Yeah.
because you have somebody who's never really strength trained at all, ever. And so
Right.
you're helping teach them how to do it properly from the get-go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's rewarding. Rewarding, I think, is like an understated word for how it feels when I can see the look in their eye when they get what we're trying to do, and they're like, "Oh, that's what I'm supposed to be feeling," or when they do something that was previously challenging and they can do it now with ease. Yeah, it's
That's
super
awesome.
super rewarding.
Do you do nutrition coaching with your clients as well?
I do, but I do keep it fairly simple. I don't like to add more confusion in my nutrition coaching, so it often stems from things that they have already talked about, and I don't try to fully dismiss their own beliefs on certain things nutrition wise, unless it's like really skewed. But more or less, I try to work within their kind of boundaries that they have already. So if somebody's really against having certain carbohydrates, like I don't try to push them to have more of that type, but I'll try to get carbohydrates in a different way.
That makes sense. So it's a lot of like just habit, like kind of building, adding little things here and there to kind of help them get that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that makes it more sustainable.
Right, just because it helps them be a little bit more consistent in the beginning, especially because you're not trying to change everything all at once. They're already making this big jump in coming to see me a couple of times per week, which is a huge schedule adjustment for most people in the beginning, and then adding this stuff that they have to do outside of the sessions, which is pretty much 100% on their responsibility, because I'm not there to tell them certain things or correct them when they make an assumption on something. So it's really it could be overwhelming if I try to have them do everything all at once.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I try to start slow with my clients too. Do you ever get any of the like all or nothing kind of people who want to do everything all at once?
Oh yeah, all the time. It's hard to talk them down a little bit, but for majority of those people is I let them go into it like 100% right away, and then I have a plan set up knowing that it's not going to be sustainable, so that we have like a okay, now what type of program after that. Is like, you've done this at 100%, like now what are we going to do? Like I have that figured out already for them.
That's smart. So what is the now what program? Is it just like scaled back?
Yeah, it's when talking with them is finding out like the specific things that they failed on, because usually it's not the whole diet that they failed on, that they decided to put themselves on. It's usually like one or two aspects. So you can take the other few things that they did really well and have them stick with them, and then just make some small adjustments to the stuff that was really unsustainable. It's like for somebody who's like really against carbohydrates, it's like, hey, like let's just have it for one meal a week, and make it a little bit more kind of gradual progression to go back into it. So it's not something that it's like you said, like an all or nothing approach. It's like, no, we can have some of it. Like we'll just schedule it in on Saturdays so you can really kind of go after it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think when you do those little things too, then they'll notice, oh, I didn't get fat and I had carbs. Oh,
Right.
Maybe I can have some tomorrow.
Right. Exactly. It's like, oh, can we do like another day? Like, can we make it 2 days now and still get these results?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about personal training?
I would definitely say it's seeing people find their success. Because most of the time people are coming in and they're hitting a plateau, or they've never had success in the gym. And it's seeing that progression is really what keeps me coming back, doing it on days where it becomes a little bit overwhelming for me as the coach. Because sometimes, people struggle and struggle and struggle, and they get frustrated just as much as we do for these things that, results just don't come as easy all the time. So really, really when people kind of really get at least one point of success and they get really happy about it, like it kind of fuels the fire to keep going.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. And it's tough because most of the good coaches out there, we like actually care.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to not get down when your clients are feeling down or struggling too.
Yeah, I think even the clients that I have that have had a hard time with getting some results in certain periods is when they offer up or tell their friend about our training experience, and it becomes like, hey, I told this person, and they want to reach out and maybe work with you. Like getting that referral without asking for it is another I'm making a difference here to these people, even though they haven't seen all of the results they wanted from working together.
Yep. Yeah, I feel the same way. Because if you think about it too, even if they don't get that goal that they originally wanted, their life has improved.
Right.
Like just by prioritizing their health, starting to exercise, starting to eat, make better decisions with their food choices.
Yeah. And we're as just people, we're talking with them on a far regular basis than a lot more than their friends. I see some people 3-5 times a week sometimes. So it's like I'm seeing these people more than some of their best friends are seeing them, and we are having more conversations on a daily basis, and it's that relationship is important.
Definitely. That's awesome. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Absolutely.
It was great chatting with you today. So final thing, what would you like to leave our audience with, and where can they find you?
I would like to leave with, or just say to finish, is if you are on the fence of starting anything new, just jump all in and start it. Even if it doesn't go as planned right away, you have to start. And I think that's the most beneficial thing that you can do with any goal, is not to overanalyze how you start, but just to start. And you can find me at fitleet.com or at fitleetnation on Instagram. I hang out there sometimes.
Yes, I will add those in the show notes. Please connect with George. He's awesome. And if you're a coach, check out his website and his podcast. He has an awesome podcast. I was on it a while back. Mm-hmm. So go follow him on Substack.
I almost brought a can of beans for the show.
Yeah, I still can't eat them. I still can't eat them. It's scarred me. So anyway, thank you guys for listening today. I hope you have a great one.